Witches! Hi, hello, and welcome back. It's a brand new solo episode. We're having some technical difficulties. There's a storm going through Charleston right now, so Emily is unable to join me for this one. But this is gonna be a really quick episode. We, as you all are aware, have been really kind of struggling with Hawaiian mythology, partially because Hawaiian folklore is passed down verbally and through dance and stories, and it's hard to find a lot of information about it that isn't honestly hard to tell the story and hard to describe. A lot of what we have found has been very academic texts and not exactly what we were looking for to share. So we are doing a wrap up. It's going to be a quick episode, just finishing up what we talked about already, and hoping to request some input about what we should do next. So let's get started. It's been super fun learning about myths, legends, and spiritual traditions of Hawaiian mythology. It's a great pantheon. There's lots of interesting stories. I would love to go there. Little bit of a side quest for those of you who don't know me. When I was growing up, my person was my great grandmother. Her name is Ruth. She passed away when I was about 13, I think. But she was my person, and she used to go every year, or every couple of years at least, to Hawaii, and she would do the Blue Hawaii helicopter tour, and she loved it there. So it's been a dream of mine for a long time to go there, and I hope that at some point I get to do that, and I can bring back some folklore and traditions of or that I hear firsthand from actual Native Hawaiians. But until then, we're going to keep going with what we've been able to glean from online. So we've learned about powerful gods and goddesses, shape-shifting spirits, hero legends. We've talked about magic, lots of ancient stories about how the islands were pulled up from the sea, about the volcanoes and why the sun moves. But all good things come to an end. So today we're going to wrap up our exploration of Hawaiian mythology with a reflection on what we've learned, some questions that maybe we still have, and a little bit about how these stories continue to resonate in modern times. So there are some key themes in Hawaiian mythology. The divine connection to nature. Most of Hawaiian mythology is about why nature does what nature does, and uses the story of these gods and goddesses to explain nature and the cosmos. Gods like Pele, who's the volcano goddess, Kanaloa, the ruler of the ocean. Maui was the demigod or hero, depending on the story, who pulled up the islands from the sea. He's the one that taught the people how to fish. He's the one that roped the sun so it continues to go around the earth and come back every day. He brought them fire. All of those things. Pele and her sisters were the goddesses of mischief and other things. So lots of big personalities, lots of awesome things happening, just like the other pantheons we've covered. The reason that the next key theme is the power of oral tradition, which is the reason that this pantheon has been so hard for us to cover. Passed down through chants and storytelling, Hawaiian myths have survived colonization and cultural shifts because these stories are passed down through families, from mothers to children, from fathers to children, through history, so they can continue to be shared and honored today. We've talked about the importance of Ohana and Kuleana. family, ancestors, the responsibilities to our ancestors and to our family, and the respect for a person's role in the world and their ancestors' roles in the world, um, which show us the deep values of the Hawaiian people. And then the last key theme is the blurred line between the mortal and the divine. So heroes like Maui and demigods bridge the gap between gods and humans. In some stories, Maui is a human who is just a human hero that does all these fantastic things. In some stories, he is a demigod who was born of one of the goddesses. We don't know, but throughout history, different cultures and different tribes pass things down differently. So there's like a blurred line there between mortal and divine, which honestly is kind of the same in a lot of different pantheons. We have Hercules in the Greek pantheon, and the Christian pantheon, we have Jesus. Like, we have all of these different ones that are kind of like borderline human, but also divine. And they teach lessons through their epic adventures. So, the lesson of Maui is all about really helping others and explaining how nature does what it does. The lesson of Jesus is love thy neighbor. Like, we have all of these different myths that teach us lessons, and that's really the point. They're kind of like fables. They're stories with a moral or a lesson to teach you. Hawaiian mythology's influence on modern culture. It continues to shape modern culture. So modern storytelling, we have literature, we have film and spiritual practices, environmental conservation efforts. I recently read a book called The Maui Effect. It was a romance novel, but it was about a conservationist who it was a enemies to lovers kind of romance. So there was a surfer who ends up falling in love with this conservationist, and they work together to save this area on an island that was going to be commercialized and torn down to make a resort, which is not what we want to see, right? Like, we want to see those natural areas stay beautiful and stay what they are. What else? And then Moana. I know Moana is technically more Maori tradition, but it has some of those Hawaiian aspects as well. If you think about the song You're Welcome from the first Moana movie, he's like, oh, I lassoed the sun, I did all of these things. So he's telling the story of Maui, which is common to the different Polynesian islands. And then the other modern influence of Hawaiian mythology is the respect for the land, which and the interconnectedness of all things. So they call that Aloha Aina, and I probably, or maybe it's Aloha Aina. I probably am saying that horribly wrong, and I apologize because I forgot to look up the pronunciation on that one. But that is the influence on modern society of Hawaiian mythology. So like I said, this is going to be a really, really short wrap-up episode. Before I sign off, I want to say a huge mahalo or thank you to everyone for joining us on this journey. Whether you're here for the myths, the jokes, the cultural insights, the deep dives into spiritual connections, our horrible pronunciations, whatever you're here for, we appreciate you for tuning in, sharing your thoughts, and helping us keep these cultures and these stories alive. What's next? Our Hawaiian mythology series is coming to an end, but this is only our third pantheon, right? So we've done Greek, Norse, and now Hawaiian. What do you want to see next? Let us know. We have our email, acordofwitches@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on our Buzzsprout or our YouTube. Um, we we're interested in. I think a couple of our next thoughts are Japanese folklore, Egyptian mythology, maybe India. Let us know what you want to hear. And until next time, bye.